You remind me a lot personally of a mixture of Cub Swanson and Robbie Lawley. You come to fight. You pressure every time. You embrace the battle. Do you feel that's an accurate assessment of you?
Yeah, I refuse to quit. I can't be beaten.
Yeah.
I might not win every fight, but I will not lose. I will not give up. And at the end of the day, I can walk away with my head up. I've never had a fight where I walk away and I'm like, man, I just didn't pull the trigger. I never hold back. When I get in there, that's my opportunity. That's my time to shine. So, I never want that moment of regret. And that being said, I think back on that choke when I talk about regret. That's the moment I rue every day. I wake up. I think every time I'm rolling, I get somebody's back. They're tapping out. They're going to sleep. I'm not gonna be on somebody's back and not put them to sleep again. That it's unacceptable, and I'm gonna fix that mistake, and it won't happen again.
And going, kind of elaborate more about that choke for maybe people who weren't there live and didn't get to see it.
Right. So the fourth round, I was getting beat to the punch. It came out, took him down. He scrambled to his feet. I took his back, standing, sunk in a rear naked choke with gable grip, ripped it, and he was kind of shaking. He was going to sleep. I was falling off the side. I decided, either keep squeezing and fall off the side or readjust. I readjusted here, Mataleo. I was squeezing, and he just came to, reached behind his head. My face was in there in the way. He just reached in there, grabbed my hand, pulled it out from around his head. Just high-level black belt that refused to quit. And, I just wish I could have that moment back. Maybe I would have done something different and put him to sleep. But, he did say he went out once or twice. He said he was phasing out, but I guess that it wasn't quite enough to put him out, all the way.
What are some when you're in there, for those that don't know, when you look at it, some people are like, oh, that should have been finished, that should have been finished. But what is going through your mind when you're in that moment?
It was over in my mind. Breathe, squeeze, everything you're taught on day one, and I was doing all of the above, and my mind couldn't help but start wondering, like, the fight's over. Like, in my mind, I'm the champ. It's over. I started seeing, quit it now. I started seeing the victory already, and maybe that was my mistake. I should have stayed in that moment. But when it's so close, you could taste it. It's hard to not think about what's next. I could feel him falling over. I could feel the glory, whatnot. But it was all in my head.
Now, when you get to, like, in a 5-round fight, and there's a lot of fighters who haven't been to a 5-round fight just yet, what's going through your head in that, that 4th round and that 5th round, where a lot of people just have those 3 rounds normally?
That's where champions are made. 4th round, everybody's tired. That's when you dig deep and see what you're really made of. And I knew I wasn't going to get finished. I knew I wasn't going to quit. And most guys will break in that 4th round. I've had a few title fights where, Manny, he broke in the 4th round. And one of my XKO title fights went to the 4th round, and he broke in the 4th round. Usually that's the deciding round where they decide if they really, want it that bad or not.
Did you think it was going to be kind of like almost that 4th round momentum? You talk about Manny Vasquez, and that was a huge victory. I know that the UFC was looking at him on the Dana White show, and you finished him rear naked choke. When you had Leandro's back in the rear naked, you're like, this is deja vu again.
Yeah, definitely. It was reminiscent of that. I was thinking, man, two 4th round rear naked chokes, but hey, it wasn't meant to be. And he's a great fighter. All the credit to him. He's a true champion. But I feel like if I were to have that chance back, I would go in there, do things differently. And the fighter of today, me today, is much more improved than the fighter that stepped in there.
Now, I know he's competing for Bellator right now, but do you think you guys' paths will cross eventually again?
Definitely. I won't retire without fighting him again unless he retires. I don't know if he wants to fight me again. That was a tough win for him. I know he went through a lot of pain to beat me. So, but you know, hopefully we can get that rematch on the books in a couple years, cross paths, maybe in the UFC.
And are you surprised he didn't go right into the UFC? That not you know, Bellator is a great promotion, but
yes and no. He definitely talent-wise, he can hang with the best in the world, but that's not what the UFC is looking for. Really, they're looking for, one, you have to be one of the best in the world. Two, you have to be able to put fans in the seats and sell pay-per-views, and they're looking for stars. Leandro's just you know, another face.
Well, were you guys approached at all before that fight? Like, winner of this is the golden ticket.
No, but everybody had said it.
Yeah.
And you know, I've heard things from the big guys in the UFC that, hey, you know, I should have won that fight, and then I'd be where I'm supposed to be.
Well, if I was, you know, the matchmaker, I would have still selected both of you guys, because this is, you know, one of those fights, and I call them fan friendly. And what I mean by that is, especially for even a lot of casual fans that love that back and forth, a.k.a. Forrest Griffin, Stephan Bonner. You know, even though Bonner came up short because of the battle, because of what both of them went through, he also got a six-figure contract that night of the Ultimate Fight. Of course, we wouldn't be here today without that fight, really.
No, that fight changed MMA. Yeah, that's exactly what type of fight it is. It was, but except for the pay.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
But a lot of people know who we are because of that fight, and I bet I made a lot of fans because of that fight. And you know, if you're winning all the time, then how are you going to inspire somebody? You know, you got to get knocked down, and that's when you show what you're truly made of. And you know, I get knocked down every once in a while, but I always come back on top, and I always get better. I learn from my mistakes, and you know, that's what you're going to see July 14th.